Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Bridget. I work in undergraduate admissions here at Pace University. Just to make you a little familiar with the platform that we're using, this is Zoom webinar, so your microphones and your cameras are off. You can use the chat feature located at the bottom of your screen. Ask any questions that you have for our panelists today. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Pace University's Oasis program, an ongoing academic and social support program for students at Pace. I'm going to do a brief presentation to talk about our university for a bit, and then I'm going to pass it off to my colleagues in Oasis. So Pace University is a multi-campus university. We're a private school located in downtown Manhattan and Westchester, New York. So to start, I usually like to talk about what makes Pace different. And this is something called the Pace Path. It's a combination of academics, mentorship and advising, and internship programs. And this is going to start in the classroom. You're going to be taking a University 101 class that's taught by your academic advisor. And they're going to ask you questions, do you want to study abroad? What clubs do you want to be involved in that you were involved in high school that you may want to continue? What internships do you want to have? And all of that is going to culminate into your Pace Path. And it's really designed to maximize your opportunities that you have at Pace University and taking advantage of everything in the greater New York area. So the Pace Path is going to start in the classroom. We have 5 undergraduate colleges. The first is the College of Health Professions. That is home to our health science and our nursing program. The next is the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences, which is home to our liberal arts education program. As a liberal arts university, you will have to take a few classes through the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences, such as your English, math, history, sciences, and foreign languages. They also house the School of Performing Arts, as well as other really cool majors like digital journalism, communications, and, like I said, performing arts. Next is the Leuven School of Business that houses our accounting, management, and marketing majors. The School of Education works with Pace students to certify them to be in the classroom with other students ages 0 through 18, so birth all the way through high school. And then the Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems is our technology school. You'll actually have to take 2 classes through this school, so you can take some classes such as data mining, robotics, or coding. For students that may be interested in going to our law school, we do have the Elizabeth Howe School of Law. You could do 3 years undergraduate with us and then 3 years at our law school after graduation. We do also have a lot of accelerated bachelor's and combined degree programs, which just means you can get your bachelor's and your master's in a condensed amount of time, saving you time and money. The second component of the Pace Path is our internship program. And we have one of the largest internship programs in the New York metropolitan area, which means that a typical Pace student will have 3 to 5 internships by the time they graduate with us. The way we do this is by having job fairs twice a semester with career services, as well as specialized events throughout the year that will allow you to get familiar with any specific company or any field that you're interested in going into. The Oasis program will talk about that more specifically to their program in a bit. But just to talk about who's hiring Pace students as a whole, I always like to touch on MTV. We do have a really strong relationship with Viacom, which is the parent company for MTV, BET, Nickelodeon, and Paramount Pictures. That's because of the students who have come before you. They've really built a great connection with those companies. So a lot of students will either work there during their internship program while they're at Pace or get hired after they graduate. So like I said, we have 2 different campuses. The first campus I'm going to talk about today is our New York City campus. It's located right at the foot of the Brooklyn Bridge in Manhattan. So there's about 6,400 students at this campus, and everything's within a 5-block radius, which makes us a really tight-knit community in a larger city. We do guarantee housing for all 4 years if you choose to live on campus. You freshmen live in one of the 2 residence halls. We have 182 Broadway and Maria's Tower. Maria's Tower is actually right above the main academic building of One Pace Plaza, which is pictured behind me. And then about a 7-minute walk is 182 Broadway. The main difference besides their location is that Maria's Tower is communal style living and 182 Broadway is suite style living. You'll see that about 74% of first-year students live on campus in New York City. Like I said, they're living in those 2 freshman dorms, 182 Broadway and Maria's Tower. If you want to live on campus as a upperclassman, you do have the opportunity to do so in 55 John Street and 33 Beekman. To bring campus to life for you a little bit, I just want to show you a few photos of inside our main academic building of One Pace Plaza. We recently renovated these spaces to have more student-centered spaces for students to collaborate, meet with their groups for group projects, as well as, just do some homework and relax in between classes. So this is, if you were to walk into this main building behind me, and this is in 41 Park Row, right across the street, one of our other academic buildings. About 45 minutes north of our New York City campus is our Westchester campus. This is more of our traditional college campus, which is home to our Division II sports teams, as well as our nature center on campus. There's about 2,600 students there, and they are living in one of our 6 residence halls. Freshmen generally live in Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall is suite style living, and you'll see some of those photos in a bit. But first, I just want to touch on our Division II sports teams. We do actually have an alumna. She works at Pace. She was on the field hockey team. So we definitely love to cheer our teams on. If you are in New York City and you want to come take the Pace bus up to Westchester, you do have the opportunity to do so and cheer on your sports teams for homecoming and things like that. To talk about student involvement on campus, it's a really great way to find your niche at Pace, find students that share similar interests to you, as well as network and help you connect with the local communities around you. We have over 150 clubs and organizations ranging from business and professional to social justice. So you can definitely find a group of students that share similar interests to you at Pace. To talk about financial aid, there are 2 different types of financial aid that Pace offers. The first is merit scholarship, and that's going to be something that's awarded to you based on the academic information that we see on your application. So that can range from $10,000 up to $29,000, and it's renewable for all 4 years as long as you're maintaining a certain GPA. The second is by filing the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, which will make you eligible for any loans, grants, or work study opportunities. And Pace is actually incentivizing students to file the FAFSA by offering a $1,000 additional scholarship if you file it before December 1st. So that's a Pace deadline of December 1st. The free application for federal student aid also does have a deadline, a priority deadline of November 15th, which is just a few days from now. So I highly encourage you all, if you are a senior, to file the FAFSA to make you eligible for any other potential grants or loans or work study opportunities. In talking about the application requirements, we will ask for the application and the application fee. The application can be found on the Common Application or the PACE application. The official high school transcript can come from your high school counselor directly to undergraduate admissions. Generally, we're looking at a 3.3 GPA, which is about an 88 or a B+. Then we're looking for your SAT or ACT scores if you choose to submit them. Pace announced their test optional policy in 2019, so we do not require them for any of our programs. So just to give you a general idea though, if you choose to submit them, we're looking at an average SAT of an 1140 and an average ACT of a 24. 2 letters of recommendation, those can come from a high school counselor or a teacher or 2 teachers, however you want to swing that. Generally, we look for somebody who can speak to the student's academic ability in the classroom. But of course, if you are involved in a certain sports team or on a club and you would like to have them write a letter of recommendation for you, you are welcome to submit that and we're happy to read it. And then last, an essay or a personal statement that's included on the Common Application and the PACE application. So we're not looking for anything supplemental. My personal recommendation is always just to reread it, making sure that your I's are capitalized and there's commas where they're supposed to be. But if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to undergraduate admissions. Our information is going to be on the last slide. Important deadlines, you'll see our early decision and early action deadlines are in November and December. Early action just means that it's non-binding and you have the benefit of finding out a little bit earlier than if you were to apply regular decision. So our early action is coming up on November 15th, and then we have an early action 2 deadline. Again, just another date that's offered to students to find out a little bit earlier, and that is in December. And then we have our program-specific deadlines, December and February. And then we have our nursing and regular decision deadline in February. So just making sure that if this applies to you, making sure that you hit those deadlines. And then the last possible date to apply is in February. We do have a rolling application after that, so you do still have the opportunity to do that after February 15th if you want to. And again, here is our contact information in undergraduate admissions. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. I myself am an admissions counselor, like I said, and I work as the liaison between admissions and the Oasis program in New York City. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to myself directly. At this time, I'm going to pass it over to my colleagues in Oasis, Julie, Anthony, and Bob Kutera.
Hi and welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Julie Sicoccio. I'm the program administrator for the Oasis Support Program on the New York City campus. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the program, but I'd like to begin by giving you a brief history. The program began in 2008 as a pilot program. We started in the School of Education, actually, and we are now entering our 13th year. We have grown exponentially, and we hope to keep growing and supporting students. We're a comprehensive support program. We cover every aspect of student life. We support students with high functioning autism spectrum disorders and a variety of other learning differences. Our students apply directly to us at Oasis. All the documentation can be sent directly to me, and I'll give you that information later on. It's important to note that our students receive accommodations, but no modifications. There is a fee associated with the program, and we do have some scholarship money available to offset that cost. Just a few fun facts about the program. Our retention rate in Oasis is 85%. Year after year, our average GPA is above a 3.0, and students who stay with us from their freshman through senior year all graduate. We have a 100% graduation rate. We are fully staffed. I just want to give you a little look at all the people on our staff. We have a director, an educational coordinator who will be giving you some information about our academic coaching, which is the pillar of our program. We have an internship and career counselor, Anthony, who will be doing a little presentation also, and we have full and part-time staff. We like the fact that our students, after being with us and receiving our support, become independent, confident, and we see a lot of success. Some of the resources that we provide for our students for this success is the one-to-one academic coaching, which is extremely important to the success of any student who has a learning challenge. We offer social work support. The social workers are in the office 5 days a week. They work on alternate days. They each are assigned to a caseload, so every student would be assigned to one social worker who they could meet with every week, discuss some anxiety issues. Maybe in your freshman year, you might have a little transition anxiety. Everything in the program is confidential. Our educational coordinator helps with registration and course selection. Our housing coordinator will help with room selection, will remind students who choose to house about application deadlines, and will help with any kind of, hopefully never, but a roommate if there's ever a roommate issue. We have a full-time internship and career counselor who helps with job readiness, coaches students composing resumes, and creating beautiful cover letters. Just a little more information about how we are hoping to grow. We are planning to open an Oasis program on our Pleasantville campus. Pleasantville is our suburban campus. The program will be a little different, only because we're offering tiered services, tiered level of services. So each tier will have some kind of combination of the coaching, the social work services, and the social activities. We haven't really set it in stone, so I can't even give you any definitive information right now, but in New York City, there's one program and all the services are offered. Pleasantville will just be run slightly different. The services in Pleasantville will naturally, after an intake, our administration will recommend a tiered service. So that's how that would work. And we'll also offer registration services. Now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Bob Cotrera, who's going to give you a little information about our academic coaching process.
Thank you so much, Julie. Hi, everyone. My name is Bob Cotrera, and I'm the Educational Coordinator for the Oasis program. As well as being the Educational Coordinator, I'm also a full-time coach. As a full-time coach, I meet with each of my students 1 hour a day, 4 days a week. This starts at the beginning of the semester, but before the semester even begins, I collect and organize each syllabus for all of my students. The syllabus is kind of the academic contract each student has with each one of their professors. In this document is about 4 to 8 pages long on average and contains a lot of information that can be overwhelming, especially when you're taking 4 to 5 classes. So it is my job to condense the essential information in each syllabi and make sure all my students understand exactly what's expected from them for each course. As the semester goes along, I also provide my students detailed lists that are organized with each assignment, both major and minor, that are due in each course. After I show them what they have to do, I help them accomplish and finalize their assignments. This can be ranging from helping outline a paper to starting an introduction in a paper to making sure a student understands that studying has to start way out in advance for a midterm or final and helping them find convenient times throughout their day to study for those exams. Outside of the coaching sessions, I make sure to keep regularly updated with professors to make sure I understand what's going on in the classroom, to both help you and to make sure that nothing has changed in terms of classroom expectations. As we also, the Oasis program, we protect and facilitate all accommodations that are legally granted to our students. 2 of the most typical accommodations granted to our students are note-taking services and extra time on exams. And we work very closely with SAS to make sure these accommodations are timely delivered. Outside of coaching, we also offer in-depth career and internship counseling. So I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Anthony Martino, so he can explain more about that.
Thank you, Bob. Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony Martino, and I am the Internship Career Counselor here at the Oasis program. My role was created here at Oasis in large part because our students were getting overwhelmed and anxious having to visit career services. We felt our students needed more individualized attention in a space they felt most comfortable. At Oasis, students receive one-on-one attention on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, depending on grade level. Juniors, seniors, and underclassmen who are actively pursuing internship opportunities meet with me more frequently. And as a result, we have seen an increase in student participation, especially with freshmen, since Oasis has been their dedicated resource for internships and careers. I assist our students with resumes, cover letters, internships, and full-time job applications, as well as connecting them with opportunities such as mentoring days with organizations around New York City and various workshops. I also work with organizations to help students find internships that match their interests and skills. During the second semester of their freshman year, we give our students the opportunity to take an interest inventory to assess their interests and strengths. By doing so, we can help guide them towards the courses and majors that they need to succeed. This assessment helps students identify their work personality by exploring their interests, resulting in having a less difficult time in deciding on an appropriate career choice. We also begin the resume and cover letter process, especially with students who have shown an early interest in obtaining internships. In their junior and senior years, students participate in our Employment Ready workshop. We have partnered with Access VR as well as AHRC New York City, who facilitate a 12-week employment readiness workshop here at Oasis. In the workshops, they begin learning about various workplace cultures through instruction and field trips to companies and organizations. They learn about effective communication skills and the importance of building good relationships with coworkers. Also, through role play and video representation, they learn and practice professional behavior, conflict resolution, as well as developing an elevator pitch. Towards the end of the workshop, students engage in 2 days of mock interviews with volunteers from the mayor's office, JP Morgan Chase, Salesforce, Morgan Stanley, and EY, among others, where they receive constructive feedback after each interview. And all students who participate in these workshops are guaranteed 160 hours of paid internships for the summer, with mentoring and feedback so that we can reinforce the positives as well as strengthen the weaknesses they may have seen during their experience. We have also been connecting our students with companies and organizations throughout New York City, especially with those who have begun initiatives to hire individuals with differences, such as JP Morgan Chase, Bloomberg, and Goldman Sachs, to name a few, as well as connecting them to workshops held by companies such as Barclays, BNP Paribas, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. We are leveraging these relationships so our students will have an increased chance of becoming an increased chance of beginning their careers in something closely related to their major. And a little on the statistics. Currently, the national average for individuals with autism obtaining a job after completing a four-year degree is 20%. At Oasis, 80% of our students have been obtaining internships, and 75% of our graduates have been gainfully employed. Some of the positions our most recent graduates have obtained have been data analyst for Goldman Sachs, packaging manager for a company that makes inclusive toys for children with learning differences, an accountant with Group M, and merchandising assistant for Scholastic. Thank you all, and I would like to turn it back over to my colleague, Julie Sacocia.
That was great, Anthony. Thank you. I'd like to get into the application process just a little bit. We have our own Oasis application, and our process is separate from the application process of the university, mostly because our students are required to submit confidential documentation, which gets submitted directly to us, which we do not share with anyone. Everything that goes on in Oasis is confidential. Our students are all legally entitled to 100% confidentiality. We never ever share or disclose their diagnosis with anyone. So our students must submit a current neuropsych evaluation, an IEP from high school, a high school transcript, a couple letters of recommendation. That's not a deal breaker. And in our application, we also ask for a personal essay. Our application is brief and simple. It's mostly questions so that we get to know the student better, their likes, their dislikes, and things like that. The last part of our application process is a formal intake with our administration and the student and parent or guardian. This is just the contact me page. Feel free to reach out to me at any time with any questions. Here's my email address and my phone number. I take calls and emails from everyone all day long. Feel free to reach out. At this time, we would like to answer any questions that you might have right now.
Thanks so much, everyone. All right, so I saw that the chat had some questions in it, so I'm going to start there. The first question is if there's special considerations given to students with learning disabilities and roommate selection. I may be able to answer this. In terms of housing, the housing department will ask you to file an application with them. In terms of like single rooms, that is on a first come first served basis. It is pretty limited in that regard, but that's a conversation once you are admitted to PACE down the line, you can certainly have with housing. And the letters of recommendation for the Oasis application, Julie, can they be the same ones that are submitted for the academic application?
Absolutely. Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay, great. Another question that we have is, what is the main difference between student accessibility services and Oasis? So Bob, you had touched on SAS, which stands for Student Accessibility Services. Can you expand on the difference between the program we're talking about and that?
Sure, thank you. SAS is where students go to register and get their legal accommodations granted at Pace University. That is a process that Oasis will help with, but we are two separate, distinct programs, though we do work closely together. While Oasis is working closely with SAS, what we focus on mainly is your academics. And your social and emotional, we also socially and emotionally support you. So we will meet with you daily, 1 hour a day, organize all of your syllabi, make sure your work is handed in, make sure you're feeling good about your academics overall. We also have social workers on staff, as Julie mentioned. We ask first-year students especially to check in with them, and we offer a wide range of social activities. So along with all that comes the accommodations that we make sure are being respected by professors, making sure students get note-taking for every class, and making sure every exam, their extra time is granted.
Thanks. So the next question is, do the professors know if the student is in the Oasis program?
That's a great question. So coaches do email beginning of the semester, each professor, one of their students is enrolled, to say that they are working with that student.
Thanks, Val. So this might be more of a question for you, Julie. Do you cooperate and have access VR programs?
Do we cooperate? Access VR helps out with the implement ready workshops. So our students who participate, Anthony could talk more about this, who participate in the workshops do need to register with Access VR. And you want to address that?
Sure. So, yeah, sure. All of our students who participate in the workshops will register with Access VR. We have collaborated with Access VR and AHRC. AHRC actually facilitates the workshops, and Access VR funds the workshops that we hold here at Oasis.
Thank you. That was helpful. I wasn't familiar with that program. All right. So the next question is, how often do students need to meet with the housing coordinators, social workers that you all offer?
So the housing coordinator will contact each student who participates in housing and set up meetings according to what's going on with the student and what time of the semester it is. She'll reach out and remind students about application deadlines, and beforehand, she will also meet with students if they have any questions. The social workers are separate from social coordinators. Our social workers are just that. They're licensed clinical social workers, and they will meet with our students once a week for about a half an hour and discuss whatever the student wants to discuss, confidential things, whatever they want to vent about their stress level or some of their assignments or something that's really getting to them. That's their safe place to do that. And we have full-time coaches who are working very hard on doing some virtual activities with our students. So that will happen once a week. In normal times, we have pizza every Friday. So now the coaches are trying to do some virtual get-togethers with the students at least once a week, because everyone feels so isolated during this time. We're trying to help out with that.
Yeah, thank you. Very needed service, especially now. So the chat is getting a little bit quiet, so I just have one last question that we can end with. Do you mind just expanding on the different types of students that are in the Oasis program? Students that may come from out of state, out of the New York area, maybe international students that are in the program. Do you accept students that come from out of state?
Yes, we accept any student who's accepted to the university. So students can apply to us simultaneously at the same time they apply to the university, but our students naturally, because we are a PACE program, have to be accepted to the university. And like I said, our application process is separate, but we will accept any student. We do have a student from Puerto Rico, and we have students throughout the country.
Thanks, Julie. And do you mind just expanding one more time on how we can apply for the Oasis program? So I'll start with the first part, which is the academic application that's going to come through admissions when you're a senior in high school or if you're transferring. That can be found on our website, but just your common application, essay, transcripts, that can all come to us. And then once you're admitted, you can start working with Julie. And do you mind expanding on that?
Yeah, even at the same time, if you're more comfortable, if you're more comfortable applying to Oasis at the same time you're applying to PACE, that's fine. We welcome all of your applications. We'll meet with you at any time. We could do an info session. You could come and look our space, meet with the staff when we're there, or else we'll try something virtual. But our application process can be done either way, after or during, and all the documentation would come directly to me. Our application can be found on the PACE website on the Oasis page. If you're having a hard time finding it, just reach out to me and I'm happy to email you an application.
What exactly are
We
you
take
looking
as many
for?
first year.
Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I saw the question. I'm sorry, it just popped up. We take any first year student who wants to come and participate in the program, as long as you go through the application process, provide the right documentation, we accept. We have some years we have as many as 16 first year students. Sorry, Bridget.
No, you're okay. I was just going to ask what you were looking for in the essay for the Oasis application.
It's a personal essay, so the student can tell us anything they want about themselves.
Can it be the same
there's no
that they
requirement.
use to apply for this?
I'm sure they can, but I think they probably want to tell us different things than they're going to tell the university in the university application, because this is a lot more personal.
Good to know. All right, well, the chat is slowing down. If there aren't any other questions, I'm going to drop my information in the chat. Again, my name is Bridget. I work in undergraduate admissions, and I'm going to put Julie's information as well. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to connect with us, Bob and Anthony, if you wanted to put your information in the chat as well, just your email, and hopefully we'll hear from everyone soon. Oh, one last question. How many students are in the program now?
We have 53 students this year.
Great. All right. So that's the last question. All right. Thank you all very much for attending. We appreciate it. Have a good rest of your evening and stay safe.